Hey everybody, it's Fancy. Welcome to my channel. Today we're kicking off my favorite season with 31 Days of Halloween. That's where I upload daily content for the month of October all the way up to Halloween. We're starting off with a quick and easy way to make a trick-or-treating or casual party outfit. Let's start with what you'll need. I started with an oversized t-shirt. I have a men's 2X, some scissors, needle and thread, a marking tool, and maybe a sewing machine if you have one, though it's not totally necessary. You can see here that I've included elements for a full look, which you'll be able to see if you come back for tomorrow's video. Another item you'll need is a stretchy dress or a bodysuit that you can use for a pattern. You can use a tape measure if you don't have the pattern garment, but it does make it a little bit easier to get going on this project. You want to turn your t-shirt inside out and lay the pattern dress over the shirt, making sure that the design is centered and that you're not going to cut it off when you go to make your cutoff lines. Once you're satisfied that you've got it laying out, decide how much seam allowance you're going to give yourself. I'm giving myself about an inch and a quarter, just because the t-shirt is a lot less stretchy than the dress that I'm using as my pattern. Once I'm happy, I go along and I just make my cutting lines with my marking tool, being sure to sort of go along with the curves of the dress. And then once I get up to the sleeve portion, I just sort of continue that line straight up to the shoulder. That way I can cut off the sleeve piece. Once I'm happy with my mark, I fold the t-shirt in half so that all of the seams line up, everything lines up, and the design is still nice and centered on the front. Give it a cut with my nice scissors, going up the cutting line all the way up to the top, and again hanging on to that sleeve piece for later. You open it back up and you can see you've got one piece of fabric now that needs side seams. So I used about a 1/2 inch seam allowance and just marked with my marking tool up to where the sleeves would be, leaving that opening so that you can get your arms through. Then I used some pins just to hold everything in place and then started stitching. For this project, because it's a stretch garment, you need to use a zigzag stitch, and then you also need to pull the fabric kind of tight as you go through, just to make sure that the seam itself is nice and stretchy and doesn't pop when you go to put it on. Also remember to kind of back stitch at the beginning and end of the line, just to make sure that the seam doesn't come apart at the beginning or end, because then the whole thing can rip. And there we have our little tube dress. At this point, you could be really done. You could hem the sleeves, or the sleeve holes as they are, or you could put the sleeves back on. Really, you could decorate it any way you wanted at this point. I'm going to go ahead and put the sleeves back on first by gathering the shoulder, making just a little mark along where I want to gather. And then, as in my previous videos, I've shown you guys how to gather. Basically, you just do a single line of long stitches and then pull it along that stitch, along the bobbin stitch, and it kind of bunches up, and you can do that. I should have with this project also done the same thing on the sleeves themselves as well. So I would recommend, if you follow this project, that you gather the shoulders and the sleeves, not just the shoulders, because it caused me some issues when I went to attach the sleeves in the next little segment. You want to go ahead and cut off any excess fabric from the sleeves themselves, so you just have the sleeve pieces. And then, like I said, I would definitely, where the shoulder bits are, go ahead and gather it, but I did not do that here. Turn your sleeve right side out, because you want the right sides to touch each other. So the t-shirt dress will be inside out, the sleeves will be right side out, so that everything matches up. You want to match up your armpit seam with each other, and then also the kind of shoulder fold. You want to match those center points up so that it's in there properly, and then just pin around the edge of the sleeve hole. Again, if you went ahead and gathered the sleeve, you won't have the issues I had where I had to kind of create pleats and kind of bunch the sleeve up. So yours will actually probably look better than mine if you follow my procedure. If you follow what I'm telling you to do versus what I actually did. So you can see here I am pinning these sleeves in place, and then I start to go around and I end up having to like make little pleats on the sleeve itself because I didn't gather. And it just took me a little bit, but once you get it going, everything should be pinned in place. Once you're all pinned in place, it's really just a matter of stitching it on there. Again, you want to use a zigzag stitch and you want to pull the fabric taut so that your seam will be stretchy as well as your fabric. If you don't do it, then your seam won't have any stretch and you could pop stitches. You want to also be sure that when you're sewing, you don't catch the other side of the fabric. The next thing I did was gather the shoulder seams. Because it's a men's shirt, there's quite a bit of distance between the neck and the shoulder. So I had to shorten that a bit by just gathering along that seam. So I did that on both sides, and you can see me here bunching it up just to make it look a little bit more feminized. And the last thing I did was give it just a tiny little V-neck. Fold those back and stitch those in place. And here we have the finished little mini dress slash fitted shirt. If you come back tomorrow, you will see the entire outfit with hair, makeup, and everything. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow. If you'd like to follow me on social media, here they all are. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button down below. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Love you guys. Mwah.